Today we continue with our class Others People's Money, and this session and all of them should be dedicated to Refuah Shlema of our dear Rabbi Lerner Shlita. His name is Yaron Ben Doris. Also to Yaron Yehudis Bas Noach, Ariela Ora Basana, Yimim Rasi Rachel Bas Brindel, David Shloma Ben Sandra. Quick release of our dear friend Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina. Also to safety of brothers and sisters in Eretz Israel and in Iran. Bezras Hashem. All right. So we continue today with our book, class Others People's Money, and we up to section D. Okay. And topic stealing by borrowing without permission. Again, stealing by borrowing without permission. Okay, so let's see. And it says, like subject that we're going to cover. Stealing by borrowing without permission, when it is prohibited. Exceptions, items that no one minds. When others borrow. Owner always let him borrow item. Item used to perform a mitzvah. Okay. So let's try to understand. So let's see from the beginning. When it is prohibited, using another person's item or property without his permission is form of stealing. If one takes the item with intention of returning, returning to exact place and exact condition that is found, borrows it only for a few seconds, and returns returns it as he found it, and it is nevertheless guilty of stealing. Okay, so let's try to understand what it says here, and we're going to explain. So using the person's item or property without permission is a form of stealing. So in next section we're going to see if we assume that person does not mind. But if person does mind, or we don't know if a person would mind or not, so it is not allowed. It's not allowed to take without person permission. And learn also if person, it's like person putting another person in a situation, uncomfortable situation, so the other side cannot say no because of the embarrassment, it's still considered to be stealing. It's not so simple. Right? If one takes an item with intention to return it. So meaning the definition of stealing, as many people understand, take something without the intention to return, or maybe return after extended use. Right, but here it's not like that. Meaning he's taken for for a short period of time, right, and he's not going to damage item, and he's going to return to exactly the same condition, exactly the same place that it was found. Meaning what? That the other person not going to lose anything. So that's the idea, and he would not even miss that. And it's not like he is going to look for it sometime. Okay. Borrow is only for a few seconds. Commentators say, and the value of usage is less than a pruta. Okay, so only a few seconds. So for some things, for example, person could have rent the thing, but here is even less than pruta. So we said less than pruta is like a lowest currency in our day and time, whatever currency is it, right? The lowest value, and so meaning it's so insignificant. So most of the people would not care. Okay. Right. So even that is not allowed, and returned as he found it. It nevertheless he is nevertheless guilty of stealing. Okay. So it says regarding if one may use a coat that had been switched in his for his coat. See chapter 3, section H6. So we're going to see that, which is very, very interesting, right? So meaning if somebody took your coat, so how do you know you left your last person to leave the shul, for example? You see your coat is gone, but it's another coat. So most likely somebody took your coat. And I mean, it happened to me twice that somebody took my coat, which is, I don't know, I didn't like it very much. Right, so after that, I would carry my coat into the shul, unless it's like a wet or something. But otherwise, because you never know. Somebody, and a second time when somebody took it, they returned it maybe 2 weeks later, and it was announced. I asked the administration, announced, look, but they did not leave anything anything. So it was like a coat in the middle of the winter. Somebody took your coat. Right, what are you going to do? Very interesting. Okay. So next one. So meaning it's not allowed to take even temporarily, even if the other person is not going to lose anything, right? Even he or she would not find out, and you're going to put it exactly the same place. They're not going to even notice. Okay. So next one, A, Akum minor. If one uses an item belongs to Akum or a minor without permission, that too is considered stealing. Right, so again, just one second, let me see if there is an explanation. No. Okay, so again, if one uses item belong to Akum, so Akum is not Jew, or a minor, so basically a minor in a sense cannot be an owner, in a sense. Cannot own objects. I'm not sure why is Akum in this category, but I mean there is a little different laws, right? So still, even though there is some leniency, I guess, but still it's considered to be stealing. I take it for minor. Akum. Continue. It was A, B. B, after owner found out, said that he did not mind. So now we're talking about after the fact. So now owner of the thing found that, so outright it was stealing, but now owner said no problem, you can take it anytime you want. And it says, according to many paskim, even the owner subsequently said he did not mind that his item was borrowed. Nevertheless, since he hadn't consented before the item was taken, it is still considered stealing, which makes sense, right? So we at the time of the event, it was stealing. So how can you change it retroactively? So meaning person after the fact said, I do not mind, but again, it could be not mind because he would be maybe embarrassed to say that, like, how come you took my pencil? You took my pencil, like. Okay, or you took my pencil sharpener or some, I don't know, something, right? Or you took my siddur, like, how dare you? I mean, if a person just read Shema or something, like pray mincha from his siddur, I don't know what happened to his siddur. Nothing, right? So for sure, usage is less than a pruta, right? And he put exactly the same respectful place as it was before. Right, but even other persons, but you see, he's a mitzvah. It's a different category. But just right, just one of the examples. Okay, mitzvah I think is a little different. Okay, so meaning a person. What I'm trying to say, sometimes after the fact, person say, yeah, it's not a problem. You can borrow anytime. But at that point, at the time when person took the item, it was not so obvious that he did not mind, the owner did not mind. Okay. For example, an homeowner finished raking his leaves and propped his rake against the tree. Someone who lives nearby needed the rake for a few minutes. Not wanting to disturb the homeowner, he borrowed the rake for 5 minutes and returned it as he found it. And the homeowner asked, perhaps he would have received permission. I'm sorry, had the apologies. Had the borrower asked, perhaps he would have received permission. However, when the borrower took the rake and he did not know with certainty that the owner would agree, the borrower was guilty of stealing. So, like, what would happen to a rake? For example, that's what happened with us. With us, we have adjacent porches to our neighbor, right? And we have our brooms and everything, rakes, brooms, everything in a corner. But it leans it's like on the border, next to the rails, on our side. So they have a mess on their like a porch, and they took. They don't have brooms, so they took our broom for whatever reason. They forgot to return, so it was there for a few days. Of course, we did not say we did not need the broom, but very interesting. Then somebody put it back. Right? So I'm not sure who took it, kids or adults. I'm not sure, but it's very interesting. Of course, if they would ask me if they can use a broom, of course they can use the broom. What happened to this broom? We had it for many years. I mean, it's a very good quality. It can last for many years. They sweep a few times. Of course, nothing is going to happen, right? But if it's only because we have good relationships. But if somebody have not such a good relationship, so it's not about the broom. It's about principle, right? They don't want anybody to use their things. So meaning going to back to this example. So somebody finished raking his leaves, right? And propped his rake against the tree, and somebody like his neighbor. I also have, let's say he clean in my mind, right? He completely clean, but now he passing by, and there are a few more leaves that he wants to keep his yard clean, and he raked them. Okay, exactly 45 seconds. Okay, so maybe the owner would not agree. Maybe yes, maybe not. You understand? So it's considered to be, according to halacha, stealing. Because at that point, again, a person did not know. The borrower did not know. Okay. Continue. C. Using land or building without permission. The prohibition against using the item without the owner's permission also applies to using land or buildings. For example, one may not trespass on property bearing no trespassing sign, since the owner clearly objects to the property being used. Trespassing on the property is an act of stealing. So we have this next to our shelf. We have some property, nursing home, and some were like huge like facilities, parking lot, and some people they cut across because like it's in the middle of the block. So is it proper or not? Did I do it myself a few times? Yeah, when I was in a very big rush. But otherwise, I'm trying to go around. Yeah, of course, you watch it's not like a car is like you come and go every few minutes. No, some from time to time, maybe in the morning, the staff come and they staff leave. But usually there's no cars. But some people like take a habit that always like every day they go like cut through. Of course, it's not allowed. It's not allowed, right? So again, the prohibition against using the item without owner's permission also applies to use of land or buildings. Right? Or come to somebody's building, you use the bathroom facilities. Right? Maybe they're not so very big fan of it, right? For example, one may not trespass on the property bearing that no trespassing sign. So yeah, you say everybody has the sign. No, not everybody. Like if they invested money, right, and they put up the sign, so meaning they have to take their wishes serious. They don't want somebody to trespass. So like the way I see it, if somebody would trespass this nursing home, and somebody would trip and fall, right, and then a person decided to sue them, for example, right? They have a sign there, do not trespass. So meaning that person had no business on their territory. So why do they need this headache? Which is understandable, I think. Since the owner clearly object to his property being trespassed, right, being used. Trespassing on the property is an act of stealing, right? Well, right. So meaning doing something without owner's permission. Furthermore, even if the owner has not hung up this sign, nevertheless, where the judgment, a common sense indicates that the owner probably does not want his property used, it may not be used without permission. For example, common sense will tell us that people object to someone parking a car in their private driveway. Therefore, parking one's car is a private driveway without the owner's permission is an act of stealing. Right. So let's try to understand what it says here. So again, furthermore, even if the owner has hung up the sign, right? Meaning he's not obligated. It's his property. Like, don't you know that you're not allowed to go through this? So somebody comes to your backyard because you have a shade. Like, you normal. Like, yes, I have a shade, but it's my private property. Yeah, but it's hot outside. Yeah, okay, so. So we would be shocked, how does it make sense? But same with us, we have to put ourselves on an owner's position, right? He does not want anybody to go to trespass his property, right? Nevertheless, when the judgment and common sense indicates the owner probably does not want his property to be used. Meaning some kind of when they use the restaurant or something it's not public restaurant, it's only for customers, right? But again, this person registered, they're going to fight with everybody. No, it may not be used without permission, right? So meaning if it can be assumed that they would not like other people to use it, so that's most likely it is the case. For example, common sense will tell you that the people object someone parking car in their private driveway. So where really there is almost no parking, especially I don't know, so they have new rules and regulations, so they cut off many parking spots. So they want everybody to drive bikes or something, right? And many people they park in double parking, and some people just leave double parking and just go, right? So of course, and then you come out and you're blocked, and so sometimes on our block are also some clowns. Even though where we live, in the neighborhood we live, it's possible to find parking. It's free, you can find the parking. Maybe sometimes you have to look for it a little longer, but you can find the park. But some clowns, they just park in double and go to sleep, in the middle of the night. So now somebody is trying to go to work, 5 in the morning or something, and they start honking. They want to get out. They are blocked. Okay. Especially if a person overslept or something. So they every minute counts, and now they have no way to get out. So that's a very tense situation. Right. People object parking in car. Okay. Therefore, parking one's car in private driveway without owner's permission is the act of stealing. So if they saw you and you say, I need for 5 minutes, I need to ride to the store to pick up my grocery and I'm out. The person say, yeah, my wife comes back from work in 2 hours, so no problem. Yeah. So if he says so, there is no problem. But otherwise, it is forbidden. How do you know? Yeah, maybe they're going to come and go. Just because somebody just came to the driveway and parked does not mean that that person came for the day. Maybe they're going to leave in 5 minutes. Maybe his wife is going to drive. Maybe kids are going to use the car. How do you know? Who told you that you're allowed to block? Right. So it's very common, and people get aggressive. Right. Get physical because of it, of course. Right, so we're going to next one, D. Cutting across a lawn or a backyard. Many homeowners object that someone other than family members friends and our neighbors invade their property by taking shortcuts through their lawn or backyard. Homeowners who spend fair amount of money maintaining their lawns do not want grass or shrubs damaged by pedestrian traffic, cutting across the lawn or through the backyard of the homeowner who object is an act of stealing. So, especially I think in the suburbs, when people have a lot of property and some other people lazy to walk across. I mean, if person protests and then protest stands. But if he does not protest for 3 years, for example, and now he got sick and tired, so that's it. It's already like a public path. He cannot make people he cannot forbid people to trespass his property. And in these places, just so we know, a person will say, yeah, let them install the fence, and that's it. Look, maybe they did not want to install the fence. Maybe the fence is too expensive, especially if you have huge property. It could be like tens of thousands of the dollars to install this fence. It's simple. You understand? So we're not allowed. We're not allowed to cut across. Okay. So again, we're really there's this thing. We're not like we live in a city. There's no property basically to cut, and everybody who has property has a fence. So that's very simple. But in suburbs, nobody has a fence. Okay. So again, quickly, many homeowners object when someone other than family members or the friends or neighbors invades their privacy, right, by taking shortcuts through the lawn. Okay, so privacy is another thing. A lawn or a backyard. Homeowners who spend a fair amount of money, right, to maintain the lawns. It costs a lot of money to maintain, right? Even they do only everything by themselves and only pay for supplies, for materials. Still, it's a lot of money, right? A lot of work. Maintain their lawns. Do not want their grass or shrubs damaged by pedestrian traffic. Right. Cutting across a lawn or through the backyard of the homeowner who object is an act of stealing. So meaning he has a sign, he told you, I don't appreciate you coming cutting through. So yeah, person has to stop. One may cut through without asking permission if he is certain that the owner does not mind or has allowed the shortcut become established on his property. Okay, so maybe it's close to shul. So a person likes everybody to go through his property to shul. I don't know, something like that maybe. Okay, so if we know for sure that person does not mind, there is no problem. Note: when passing someone's residence, it is strictly forbidden to impinge on privacy by looking inside, even to satisfy innocent curiosity, without anything more than passing glance. Even when, it's very interesting, the owner permits people to cut through his property, the shortcut taker must be careful not to look into the house or backyard with more than a passing glance. So that's another thing. So let's try to understand what it says here. Okay. So now, so we said if we know for sure that person does not mind, so meaning everybody goes through the shortcut, you new person in neighborhood, no problem. So you're allowed. Okay. But very important about privacy, and we learned in my morning class from Rambam about all laws about the neighbors. Right, about the neighbors, if neighbor wants to sell field to somebody else, and then that neighbor, another neighbor has adjacent field, and he has a right to cancel the sale, and if he can reimburse the owner, the buyer, and get the field, because he has a priority to extend his field. You understand? And some other things. Right, and another thing was about privacy. It was a lot said, maybe chapter. Chapter means it's a lot. Chapter, I don't know how many. Halachos would be 15, 13, or 17 halachos in one chapter, and it was dedicated to this thing about the privacy. Where a person can build a house, like how it should be situated. Can be like a door across another door, window another across another window, or if you want to like cut through a window, like install the window. So in olden days they would just built, and if you want to make a window, you just, I mean, if it was not originally designed, you just break the wood or something, like a cut through the wood, and you install the window, right? But it says is right. It's not so simple. What if this window is going to be on their backyard, not in their window, but backyard? So now you have a window on the second floor, for example, right? And now you're going to see everything that is going on in their backyard. Not allowed, all of these things. So meaning a lot Torah says about privacy. We have to respect our neighbors' privacy. When passing someone's residence, it is strictly forbidden to impinge on his privacy by looking inside. So some people like, so sometimes like you stand next to the window for whatever reason, and people do not see it. Like you're inside, the outside, but they try to pick like see what is going on inside. Right, that's we should not be like this. Looking inside, even to satisfy their innocent curiosity. So it's not like they trying to plan something against person. No, to satisfy innocent curiosity. With anything more than passing glance. So like a passing glance, maybe like not to bump into things, but otherwise don't look at the windows, don't look at what they have, what the storage they have, they did not have, all these things. Even when the owner. Even when the owner permits people to cut through, as we said, maybe next to the shoes, so he actually enjoys seeing people, maybe, right? The shortcut taker must be careful not to look into the house or a backyard with more than passing glance. As we said, right? So in Kav Yashar, many people, 99% of the people die from Ain Hara, right? So they don't want other people to look at what they have, or what bicycles the kids have, or this and that, like all these things. Okay. So continue. So next one is unauthorized parking. Okay. If private parking lot has a sign restricting parking for to customers, patients, residents, employees, etc., it is prohibited for others to park there. If it is self-evident that the owner needs the lot for his customers, it is prohibited to park there even without a sign. I mean, somebody asked me a question, so I said, look, you try to come to call people, contractor, and see how much they're going to charge you to make this parking lot. Right? Then you have city permits, this and that, and then you have to clean it and paint it, this and that, like maintain it. So, and why would somebody want to give you for free? Give me one reason. Right? You try to invest all this money, and like for somebody else's convenience, most likely not. So when you're doing this, it's like for specific purpose, you have a business, right? You have right. You have to business there. You want your customers to park, your employee to park, like clients to park, but not some random people. We have a parking lot not too far from us, and there is one clown. He just decided that just because he parks in a corner, it is allowed. And he left his car for many months, right? And he like chained to the fence, like it's like thick fence, like thick metal, right? So nobody would tow away his car. I'm not sure how, but they can just cut through the chain. But looks like the owners did not want to like bother. But this person, like from nowhere, and he did not have license plates. By us, if you don't have a license plate, they're just going to tow your car, and that's it. Right? It's illegal not to to park on a street without license plate. So this is a clown like for a year, maybe 2 years. I passing by there, right? Decided that just because the parking lot is not completely full like every day, so there are almost spots here and there, so I can park. Absolutely not. So let's see. If a private parking lot has assigned restricted parking to customers, patients, residents, employees, etc., it is prohibited for others to park there. So I mean, it's prohibited. It's a problem. Right? Sometimes there is some business next to shul. Right? We have a bank next to shul. Right? Or other businesses. And like some other businesses, like they're not going to open until some later time. So we block them for sure. Like I don't drive there, but people block, and there is no problem. So and they never open earlier than 8 a.m. or something. So there will never conflict, and they know like even if somebody like running a little late, they're going to take their car like in a few minutes. There is no problem. Right, and plus on a bank. Maybe some people have a bank parking lot. Maybe somebody are clients of this bank. I'm not sure. Maybe yes. Right, clients or customers, customers of the bank. Clients, customers of the bank. But still, there is still like a leftover parking. Somebody like 6 a.m. needs cash, they can still park somewhere. But like if you ask the owner, and it's like huge sign with all of the explanation that we don't like you to park there unless you're doing business. You go to ATM machine, you withdraw some money or something. But otherwise, it's not allowed. It's not allowed just because it's empty. Again, people they have to pay insurance for it. Somebody has to clean it, and right, they take liabilities. Okay, so we have to be very careful. Right. So right, in this case, even without sign, I mean, usually there are signs, but even without sign, you're not allowed to park. For example, a person coming to a shul, pull into parking lot nearby pediatrician. Right. He reasoned that it was important to come to daven on time, and the lot was still half empty. Common sense should have told him that the doctor would want the lot available for the mothers arriving with the babies and young children who needs to park near the office. Any doctor in such a situation would strongly object to nearby shul goers parking there during the office hours. Even though the doctor had not posted the sign, Davener was guilty of stealing. So that's amazing example. All right, yeah, it's half empty. How do you know it's half empty? Okay, maybe it's half empty. So what? How do you know? Maybe there are two doctors today. Maybe there is a nurse today who takes blood, and who is there only once a week. Now 3 times more people are going to come. How do you know? How do you know? Right? And now a woman comes with 3 kids, little kids, and she has one of them is sick. Okay, so she cannot schlep around the block or 3 blocks from there. Understand? So it's very, very important. Look, again, people pay so much money to maintain this parking for a reason. For a reason. So we cannot park there. Okay. Just one second. Right. So meaning, so if you ask this mothers that comes with the kids, this person he decided that he's going to pray to God, and while you have to look for a parking, even though you're entitled of parking because you have an appointment, and they promise you in the office, yeah, come on time, we have a parking lot so available behind the office on the left side, on the right side, whatever is it. So, right, which was meaning doctor would everybody would mind. So absolutely not allowed, and it's going to be stealing. Okay. So again, as I said, where we live, there are some businesses they're still closed. So by the time people live usually people who block there, they live maybe 45 minutes or even 50 minutes before the business opens. So that is no problem. Sometimes maybe they would want to open a little earlier, but not 1 hour earlier. Maybe one time I saw them. I know for what reason they opened 30 minutes early. 30 minutes, but still, by that time, almost no. I mean, nobody were there, basically. Okay. Right. So it would be like allowed. Okay. So continue. Even legitimate users of parking lot may only use it in a way the owner is allowed to be used. The owner of the parking lot usually does not want people parking cars in such a way that the others are blocked from entering or exiting. The driver who blocks their cars is effectively using the land under his car without the owner's permission, which is the act of stealing. This also applies to lots belong to the institution, for example, yeshiva shul. Okay, so let's try to understand this. So again, even legitimate user of the parking lot may only use it in a way that the owner allowed to be used. So for example, we have a huge supermarket, kosher supermarket, and the sign that they have a valet parking because otherwise it's going to be not good. So valet parking, and there's a huge sign, so you cannot shop anywhere else. So you go to our supermarket, you shop, you're not allowed to. We're not going to forgive you. Right? It says clearly we're not going to forgive you if you use our parking lot and go shop in somewhere else. So that's what they want. Yeah, for customers, yes, you go shop, you pay. They have like 15, 17 registers, no problem. So you come and go very quick. Right, so that's their goal, and you leave you empty the spot for other customers to come. Right, but if person parked there and they shop into different stores, that could be a problem. Okay, maybe if there is like a Monday, 10 a.m. when nobody is there, maybe it's not a big deal. They have another like many other spots, but still it says clear they were not going to forgive, which is a problematic. Okay. So again, but here he gives a little another example. So meaning a person is allowed to park, but he park or she park like blocking everybody. So now like it's not possible to get out. I mean, which is possible. So meaning this person, even though he was allowed to park like technically. But in this case, he's like since he's blocking entering and exiting, it's like he's stealing from the owner, right? So meaning the owner would not permit this person to park in this way. Okay. This also applies to the lots belongs to institution, for example, yeshiva shuls. Okay. So again, it depends where we live. In some shuls they have so much parking. Like especially in the morning, a lot of parking. But in some shuls, like only few spots, right? So not allowed to block them. Okay, continue. Note, it's especially sometimes like some people. We have a guy, a few guys. So they come to shul because it's proper to pray in shul, but they live in the middle of the sources. Why? Because they have to go to work. They come early. They start early. They pray with us as much as they can, and they leave. So if he comes early and he parks there, and somebody comes later and he blocks them, so it's absolutely not allowed. Okay. Note: it is prohibited to block a private driveway by parking on double parking in a street in front of the driveway. However, this is not an act of stealing. Okay, one more time. It is prohibited to block a private driveway by parking or double parking in a street in front of the driveway. This is not an act of stealing. I'm not sure. I mean, they did not they did not park on the driveway itself, but they close the exit to the street. That way I understand. Right, so that's not allowed. Right, let me quickly check time. Okay, I think we can stop here. So we have next. I just checked. Next topic is pretty long. Not too long, but long. All right. So let's take 5 minutes break and we continue with other topics. 5 minutes.